The state of government hospitals in our country is simply not good enough. Shortages of doctors and nurses, limited budgets, a lack of routine maintenance in looking after wards and other factors have led to a terrible standard of care in our hospitals. All of this leads to more medical negligence cases, and it's a trend we need to reverse. The system fails and lives of children and families are ruined, and it's something this country needs to get right. Keeping quiet and avoiding the subject won't improve things. In this episode, we are focusing on the tragedy of cerebral palsy cases. It's one of those things that people don't like to talk about and don't want to hear about, but it's not something we should continue to hide and avoid.
Hi, Mpho.
Hi.
You're here today because you would like to institute a claim against the MEC for Health and Social Development for medical negligence matter, right?
Yes.
Perfect. As I understand it, there were complications during your daughter's birth,
Yes.
and she suffered from brain damage and has subsequently been diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
Yes.
Can you perhaps tell us more about what happened on the day she was born?
All right. Well, I had a very successful pregnancy, of which I was 38 weeks. On the day, I was then taken to the clinic, of which I got there around 6:30. But unfortunately, no one attended me. I was then around 10, then transferred to hospital, which I gave birth after 11, just after 11. But then she was not breathing. And then they had to resuscitate her. And then later on, they diagnosed her with cerebral palsy.
Mpho, that sounds definitely like a case that we will be taking on.
Okay.
We will be signing you up, and we will then take the process from there.
Okay.
My colleague will then explain to you how we will proceed from here.
All right then.
Mpho, these type of cases are very close to our heart, and we will send Neo to the best experts in our country. One of these experts is Stacey Aires.
All
She's a
right.
physiotherapist. She will tell us more about Neo's treatment.
condition. All right. Thank you.
I enjoy doing medico-legal work because for me it's very medical, it's very holistic. I get to see every angle of the case. I also enjoy the legal side, but I love being able to make a difference. And in this kind of work, because I'm a rehabilitation physiotherapist, I'm able to assess and then highlight the child or the adult's needs and really play a pivotal role in determining their future. And for me, it's quite a helpless situation for the family or for the child where you can't undo the damage of an accident or an act of medical negligence. My job as a medico-legal physiotherapist is to help bridge that gap. Where are they? Where can they be? Or where were they? And bring that child or patient as close to their potential as possible.
Stacey, can you please explain to me how can physiotherapy help my child?
Sure. So when we look at cerebral palsy, first of all, what is cerebral palsy?
Yes.
So the definition of cerebral palsy is any damage to the developing motor brain until the age of 5. So that means either pre-birth, perinatally, which means around the time of birth, which is really what happened with Neo,
Yes.
or after until the age of 5.
All right.
Okay, so that's what cerebral palsy means. So it's an initial neurological injury, but then it affects, as you know, the arms, the legs,
Yes.
the joints.
Yes.
It's a lifelong condition. There is no cure for cerebral palsy, but
Yes.
there's management.
Okay.
And this is where physiotherapy comes in, because we look at this lifelong condition and we look at a child and his or her context or their family and their situation holistically.
All right.
And at different stages of the child's life, there's different management.
Okay.
So whereas in the beginning we might aim for getting more movement and actually getting more movement goals, like for example, rolling or improving balance and sitting.
Okay.
Later on, we look more at the maintenance and we prevent things from happening. For example, complications, contractures. So the more mobile a child is, the easier to manage. And the better their lifelong prognosis is. So physiotherapy is really an effort working with the child, mother, family, team,
Yes.
and looking at the child holistically. We also deal with equipment as well.
Okay.
Stacey, Michael will be sponsoring these freedom walkers for our CP children. Will you please tell me what would be the benefits for these children?
Sure. So standing is a huge thing. Why is standing such a huge thing? Because it has so many benefits for so many systems. So it benefits the respiratory system, it benefits the skeletal system, it benefits the digestive system, the urogenitory system in terms of excretion. So number one, it's about standing. But what's so amazing about this walker in particular is it doesn't just give standing, but it gives freedom of movement. And even for children who would not be a community walker ultimately, they can use it either therapeutically or domestically in the home. So it makes such a difference. Imagine a child who is mainly sedentary or is lying down, and all of a sudden they're upright, they're viewing the world at eyes level, and not only that, they have the freedom of movement. So even if they don't actually have the pelvic control or the muscular control to walk, what the Freedom Walker does is it actually supports the pelvis in a harness and allows them to be mobile. So never mind the physiological effect, but the actual psychological effect is massive. And it really does what the name says. It gives that child freedom. It's so important to remember that this whole legal process and medical negligence claims, it's not about the actual day where the claim is settled and the money's paid. This is a lifelong process. This is about lifelong management, and it's about partnership. It's about partnership with equipment providers, it's partnership with therapists, and it's really about being a team that's empowering child, mother, patient to actually bring out the best and assist them in reaching their highest potential.
Medical negligence cases are some of the saddest and toughest cases we deal with. Please be careful of law firms that approach you directly. If you are with one now, give us a call. If attorneys approach you directly, it is called touting, and it is totally against the rules of the attorney's profession. You don't need an unethical law firm representing you. How could you trust anything they do if they start the case by breaking the rules in the first place?